So let us quickly go into the mechanism of vision. So light ray will be passing through the cornea into the lens and finally it reaches the retina. And the three types of cells in retina are ganglion cell, bipolar cells and photoreceptor cells. I have just mentioned the first letter of each of them. And then when it reaches over here, what happens is that there will be certain impulses. It will create certain impulse in the rods and cones. Impulse, whenever we talk about impulse in nervous system, it is actually an electrical impulse, just like current is flowing through the body. Likewise, through the nervous system, when current is flowing, just like that, you will be having the impulses in rods and cones. Impulse, which means the electrical impulse which are generated in the rods and cones. Now, this is the typical rods. See, the rod cell is looking like a rod, that is why it is named as rod. I think in one of the exam they asked a question based on the structure of rods as such. So this is the nucleus of the rod, this is the axon terminal, and you can see this is that long slender area which is called as the outer segment. See, that area will be located towards the periphery and inner segment will be located towards the center. So as such we understand that there are certain disc like structures over here. It is called as the disc. These are called as the discs, and in these discs you will be having the presence of photopigments like rhodopsin is present inside these discs as such. So when the impulse is generated inside the photoreceptor cells, what happens is that rhodopsin will split into the components, that is opsin and retinal. So once light falls on this, inside this disc there are photopigments. They will be separating into two components, that is opsin and retinal, and they will be separating. Now once they separate, what happens is that there will be membrane permeability changes. You might have learned how an impulse is transmitted across the length of an axon, where you will be discussing about the normal conduction and saltatory conduction. Now how is the membrane permeability change? You know that if this is the normal membrane, it is actually positive outside and it is negative inside. And once there is a depolarization, you will say that sodium will enter inside. So more positive charge is entering inside. That is why it will flip over the charges which are present inside and outside, and now the inside will be positive, outside will be negative. Likewise, there will be membrane permeability changes and sodium will start entering into the structure, that is rods. And then an action potential is developed over here. Just like the way you say that in the nervous system there is an action potential by influx of sodium, the same thing is present over here, because the retina as such, the retina as a whole thing is a modified nervous system as such. So that is why sodium will enter inside, there will be increased positivity over here, and that charge, that particular impulse is transmitted through this, and thus you will be getting that impulse into the optic nerve. Now they will be asking another question over here. So finally this action potential will be transmitted from this area through that axon into what? See, that is the question that they normally ask you. So the impulse is transmitted from the rod into the bipolar cell. The fibers of ganglion cell will form the optic nerve through which the impulse is taken into the brain, and you will analyze this impulse based on previous experiences and new experience that is obtained while you see the impulse. So that is how the whole process of vision is taking place inside human beings. Now just understand the structure of rods. There are certain discs over here. Inside the disc we have photopigments. So with this we come to the end of the mechanism of vision. We will discuss certain diseases which are associated with the human eye now. Now let us discuss the diseases of human eyeball. The first disease that I will be taking is conjunctivitis. So what is conjunctiva? It is a thin mucous membrane. It is a very thin mucous membrane. So it is taken up. You can just take it out with the forceps. So ophthalmologists will do those kind of procedures. It is a very thin mucous membrane which is actually surrounding, which is actually lining the eyeball from outside. It is actually lining the cornea from outside. So that is called as conjunctivitis. So itis, whenever you have the word itis in biology, whenever you are learning the word itis, please understand itis means inflammation. So whenever there is itis, it is due to the bacteria, it can be due to virus, there can be bacterial conjunctivitis, there can be viral conjunctivitis. So depending on the causative organism, you will be naming the conjunctivitis. So whenever a person is having conjunctivitis, that person will be having excessive reddish eye. That eyes will become a lot of, the redness of the eye will increase. There will be congestion in the eyes, and there will be excessive watering of the eyes. So there will be excessive formation of tears, and that person will not be able to look very easily into the light source. So we will be having phobia of light, that is photophobia. So fear of light, because it is, you will be having lot of difficulty in looking at a light source or sunlight. So that is why they are supposed to remain inside the home, and this will take some time to resolve. You will be the doctor will be prescribing a lot of antibiotics for that, and thus this is a very simple disease that can be very easily cured, very easily treated, and it is much curable also. The second disease is cataract, which is very much obvious that it is very common these days. Every person can suffer from cataract as he is getting old. Now, what is cataract as such? Cataract is opacification of lens. So, we discussed that the lens as such is described to be the crystalline transparent lens. Only when it is transparent, the light will be able to pass through it and reach the retina, where it can form an image. But actually, if there is opacification of lens, as you grow older, normally automatically there will be opacification of the lens. You will be having diminution of vision, there will be decrease in your field of vision. So you will be seeing lesser things then. So you will have lot of difficulty in viewing things, and once you have these kind of things, please do not attempt any kind of driving and all those things which are hazardous to health. Whenever there are increased susceptibility of accidents whenever a person with cataract is driving. So cataract is due to opacification of lens, and the diminution of vision, the decrease in vision of cataract is completely curable. What we do is a surgery of cataract. You will remove the lens and place a new lens, artificial lens, into the eyes. But what I have seen is that many students confuse cataract with another condition that is present in older human beings, and that is called as Archus Analysis. I don't think they will be asking a question as such about Archus Analysis, but yes, to clear your confusion, I will be telling you something about Archus Analysis. If you check your older persons, older people at your home, you might have seen that if this is the eyeball that they are having, and in this eye, if you look from front side, you will see that there will be certain whitish appearance of this area. See this area, this rim of cornea you can see here, there will be whitish appearance. Now this whitish appearance is described to be Archus Analysis. Now as you grow older, you will become fatter, the amount of lipids in your body, the amount of fat in your body will increase, the cholesterol, blood cholesterol level can also increase. That is a process of aging as such, and this will deposit in this area as such. So on the rim of cornea it will deposit, and as it keeps on depositing, the cornea will become whiter and whiter, and it will be moving towards the center as such. So this is described to be the Archus Analysis. So this is an arc like structure. So this is a circle which is present on the periphery of the cornea, and senilis, it is present at a senile age, that is an older age. So it is a ring which is present in the senile age, that is why it is called as a circle on the senile age, that is called as Archus Analysis, a ring on the senile age, at the senile age. Now this is not cataract. Cataract is the opacification of lens. I am not talking about cornea as such. So if you have to see the lens, what will you do? You will have to dilate the pupil, you have to make this pupil bigger, and then what you see is the lens. So do not confuse anything, confuse these two terms together. Do not confuse Archus Analysis with cataract. Archus Analysis is a condition of cornea, and cataract is a condition of the lens. Without proper examination of the lens, by dilating the pupil and increasing the field of view so that we can view what is inside. Inside, this is the lens. So to see the lens, I have to dilate the pupil, I have to make the pupil bigger, and then only I will be able to say whether the person is having cataract or not, and that is not equal to Archus Analysis. Archus Analysis is just a condition of the cornea, right? So the next condition that I will be talking about is glaucoma. Glaucoma, as I said, the aqueous humor is present inside the human eyeball, that is responsible for maintenance of the intraocular pressure inside the eyeball, which maintains the shape. Now let us suppose that there is excessive aqueous humor produced, or the drainage system of aqueous humor is blocked. When drainage is blocked, more and more aqueous humor is produced as such, but that will not be able to go outside. So whenever there is a drainage problem of the aqueous humor, there will be excessive aqueous humor inside the human eyeball, and thus the intraocular pressure will increase. But still this is not glaucoma. Once the intraocular pressure increases on your eyeball, this will finally, it will affect the optic nerve. Once the optic nerve is damaged, then you will be having a lot of visual problems. You will be not able to, you will not be able to see so much of things, or your field of vision will decrease. Once your field of vision is decreased, you will be calling it as glaucoma. But remember, this is very serious, that once you have a decrease in field of vision due to glaucoma, it is permanent. You will be not able to clear that particular problem, just like you have a cataract. In cataract you will just remove the lens, put a new lens, that's it. But in glaucoma you cannot do something like that. So glaucoma is much more serious. That is why ophthalmologists advertise a lot these days saying there is treatment for glaucoma, because they know that glaucoma is very serious. You will be having a lot of other problems with glaucoma, and the vision loss that is due to glaucoma is actually permanent, and that is why they check your intraocular pressure every time you visit the ophthalmologist once you are around 18 years of age. So that is why glaucoma is much more important in the present scenario. So don't take glaucoma lightly. If any person is suffering from glaucoma, ask him or her to go for periodic checkup and do the right treatment at the right time. The next thing is about color blindness. So this is learned as such in the topic of genetics, and there will be solving so much questions in color blindness. So we will discuss a question in color blindness, and let us understand the inheritance pattern of color blindness. The most common color blindness that a person can suffer from is the red-green color blindness. It is more common in males than females because it is an X-linked recessive condition. We will be discussing that after this. Now, refractive errors are the again more common things in children, in older adults, etc. So refractive errors have to be mentioned over here. So this we will be learning in physics as such. I think you will be getting a question in the exam which asks you to prescribe the lens for these kind of people. So myopia means it is short sightedness. That means you can see all the near objects, but the far object is very difficult to be seen. So in this kind of a person you will be prescribing the concave lenses. Right, I have myopia, so I am wearing a concave lens now. Hypermetropia is the opposite of myopia, that is long sightedness. You will be able to see all the things at a distant area, but you will not be able to see the near objects. So in such a person you will be having to give the convex lenses. Now what happens in such a person? There is a defect in the lens as such, and what will be happening in myopia? The image is falling just in front of the retina. Now once you give a concave lens, this image is restored back on the surface of retina. Likewise in hypermetropia, the person will be viewing an image and this image will be falling at a posterior surface behind the retina, and you give a convex lens so that the image will fall on the retina. And presbyopia is another condition in older individuals where you will be giving bifocal lenses. So in bifocal lenses you have two lenses over there which has two different focal lengths. One is for near vision, one is for far vision. That is called as presbyopia. So that is all with the diseases of human eyeball. So as such diseases are not given in your NCERT, but these many diseases can be studied at this level by linking this with the other chapters. Now let us discuss one or two questions out of this.